Today, I'm talking to Sean McKay of American IRA. And Sean, welcome. Thanks for coming on the Zoom call with me. Why don't you introduce yourself to everyone and let them know who you are and what you do and some of your background.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So John, thanks so much for having us on. And so I'm Sean McKay. I'm the Senior Vice President at American IRA. And our service is self-directed IRAs and 401ks. And so really what that means is that clients can use their retirement accounts to not only invest in stocks, bonds, and mutual funds with us, but they can invest in what are considered alternative assets. So many of our clients invest directly into real estate transactions. They invest in privately held companies. Really, as long as it's not investing in collectibles or life insurance policies, they can typically make those investments with their retirement accounts. And so I've been very fortunate. I've been with the firm since 2008. And my background from the investment perspective is largely in the real estate space, in creating debt instruments such as loans. So I've been doing that personally, investing since 2002.
Awesome. So to get right to the point, you kind of introduced IRA, self-directed IRAs, but really, what is a self-directed IRA? If you can kind of flesh that out and explain what that is.
Yeah, absolutely. So when we think about retirement accounts, really, retirement accounts, there's a guideline that we get from the governing bodies, the IRS, the Department of Labor, in terms of how we can invest IRAs and 401ks. Our industry coins the term self-directed to kind of differentiate itself from being with an advisor or a bank where all you're going to do is invest in the equities market. You're going to invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, maybe some bank products. And so with our service, you're taking your same retirement accounts, but you have more options available to you. The real differentiator is that we are not selling you products. We're just simply giving you a platform for you to invest in what you think is a reasonable investment. So advisors kind of take you into their office and they're explaining different products and kind of what might make sense for what you're trying to accomplish with your retirement account investing. With us, we're essentially the record keeper. So we're not making suggestions to you. However, again, we're giving you kind of a wider latitude, if you will, of opportunities available to you.
Got you. So if somebody were to set up a self-directed IRA with your company, does that mean they can invest in whatever they want? They can just, the money's in your account, in their investment account, their IRA, so they can they buy Bitcoin? Can they sports cars? What kind of is the limit or the controls for what they invest in?
Yeah, great point there, John. So as we mentioned, so technically speaking, we're not able to invest in something that is deemed a collectible. So there are certain coins that are deemed collectibles. There are certain antique vehicles that are collectibles, antiques, fine wine, things of that nature we could not invest in, as well as life insurance policies. And so those are the things we know we cannot do. For the most part, beyond that, you can make those investments from an asset class perspective. So, we do see clients that will acquire an asset such as a car to usually, so it needs to be for investment purposes. So either the car is being leased out to individuals on kind of a rental basis, or there's some sort of a utilization of flipping the car, if you will. So they're not going to get personal use from it as the account holder, but it could be an investment, as you mentioned, Bitcoin, real estate, private equity, precious metals such as gold and silver. Really, it typically starts with what the client's interest is, or where they feel like they have expertise, and then kind of reverse engineering into the feasibility of making that investment.
Okay, so here's a question: can you compare and contrast what the difference is of a traditional IRA from a self-directed IRA? Because usually a traditional IRA, I guess most people are investing in Wall Street, in the publicly traded stock market and mutual funds, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Do you do that as well? Can somebody with a self-directed IRA do that as well with a self-directed IRA, or is there a complete distinction between the asset classes?
Yeah, absolutely. So we do have the capacity for clients under our platform to invest in the stock market, for example. So we have a relationship with TD Ameritrade. So they are our vendor for equity. So if a client wants some part of their portfolio with us invested in the stock market, they instruct us to open up a TD Ameritrade account so that they can have their own login. They can go through that portal and they can in real time make purchase and sale decisions for their portfolio. So it's definitely not an all or nothing proposition. As you said, if you have an account with a Vanguard, a Schwab, they're fantastic providers. But if you go to a Vanguard and say, I want to buy a rental property with my retirement account, they don't have the mechanisms in place to allow you to make that sort of investment with them.
Okay, got you. So you mentioned real estate. I like that because that's really what my specialty is in the real estate industry and helping investors make money in real estate. And I've talked to a lot of investors more recently. I've been doing this for a while, but more recently, it's one of the reasons why I wanted to talk to you is that I notice a lot of guys or a lot of people that invest in the more traditional assets, stocks, bonds, equities. They haven't really heard of a self-directed IRA, don't really know what that's about. So take me through the steps when you take on a client. What kind of steps do you take them through to help them to go from really not understanding anything about this to getting a self-directed IRA and actually signing up to do it? What kind are there typical questions that you get or hesitations that investors have in doing this?
Yeah, that's a great question, John. And so, what we talk a lot about in our team is that we're, in my mind, in the awareness game, right? And so for us, it's just simply helping to educate the general public on what options they have available to them with their retirement account. Because as you mentioned, and astutely so, the vast majority of individuals that have retirement accounts think that the only options they have are essentially some investment tied to the stock market. And so for us, what we typically find is, I think of our clients in terms of kind of two general groups. We have what I consider diversification clients, and then we have expert clients. So you being in the real estate realm, I would consider you an expert client. So you're going to come on knowing that you're going to invest in some sort of real estate opportunities because that's what you know, that's where you make your living, that's where you're deeply entrenched. And so ultimately, the discussion with a client like yourself is just kind of giving you the rules around the things you cannot do with these retirement accounts. Technically, we're always deferring to your tax and legal professionals because, again, we're the record keeper, but we are quite knowledgeable about the prohibited transaction rules and things of that nature. The diversification clients, they might still have most of their money with their advisor or with their kind of Vanguard type of platform for equities. But they understand that true diversification is having some of that money outside of the stock market. So they might come to us to have 20% or 50% of their retirement account investing in something that is not tied to the stock market so that they feel, again, like they have some real diversification there. So ultimately, again, usually the conversation is starting with what they're interested in, where they're looking to explore opportunities and how that might work with a retirement account. So again, because we're not advisors picking products, usually it's a little bit reactionary to where clients think they might want to go with their portfolio.
Mm-hmm. So getting to real estate in particular, a lot of investors, different real estate investors look at real estate in different ways and how they want to deploy their capital into a real estate investment. So, some people want to get into commercial rental properties, big apartment complexes, maybe luxury apartment complexes. Other people, like single family homes and getting into them fix and flip kinds of transactions, or any kind of a property that's distressed that could be fixed up. It doesn't have to be a house. It could be commercial property. A lot of it takes place with commercial property where it's value is added, the property is rehabilitated, and then put on the market at some time later. It's stabilized with new tenants and whatnot. And sometime in the future, it's then sold for, hopefully a significant profit. Do you see that, are all these kinds of real estate investments allowed with a self-directed IRA, these different ways of deploying your capital in real estate?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you mentioned, it could be kind of a rental type of asset, whether it's on the residential or the commercial end. It could be that value add, and then ultimately looking to sell that property either in the months or the years to come. We see some clients that will also just, in my mind, be kind of speculative in terms of looking for dirt or looking for a building that maybe they're not necessarily interested in renting out, but they think it's in the path of progress. And so they're just looking to acquire that asset and sit on it for some period of time. So as you said, all these are investment activities, as you're certainly well aware. And so ultimately with that can be accomplished with these accounts.
Mm-hmm. So for the smaller investor, for the single person basically that wants to get into alternative investment opportunities by setting up a self-directed IRA, are they in complete control of making decisions, or does your company, yeah, I know earlier you kind of mentioned there are some guidelines that you kind of make the client aware of, but are there, how hard is it to invest in a real estate transaction? For example, if an investor has an account with you and an opportunity comes along for them, can they act quickly and take advantage of the opportunity?
Yeah, absolutely. And so the great thing about usually the strategy for many of our clients is that they're going to be cash buyers with the capital that they have in their retirement account. So as you're well aware, obviously most markets right now are very, very competitive. And so these clients are coming in able to make legitimate cash offers, not some private lender or some other resources capital, but capital that they can verify in their retirement account. And so really our role is to sign documents on behalf of the retirement account, from the offer to purchase all the way through to the closing documents. Any sort of earnest money, due diligence on the front end is sent from their funds with us, as well as the acquisition money and the closing costs needed to close that deal. So really, we're just think of us as kind of that additional vendor in the closing process. Just as you will have a realtor, you'll have a closing attorney. We're that entity that is carrying out your orders for your retirement account to make that investment.
Okay, great. So that sounds like a great opportunity, a great product. A self-directed IRA is a great product for the smaller investor that wants to flip their own homes or start a rental property portfolio for themselves and as an active investor.
Absolutely.
And then for the investors that are, passive and they have money, my company is starting a private equity fund. And so investors will have the opportunity to invest in the fund. Can people use a self-directed IRA to invest in these equity funds as a passive investor?
Absolutely. So really a lot of the growth that we've seen in our company over the last 3-4 years has been from, as you said, individuals such as yourself. They have different models for their funds. Some it's syndication, some it's just kind of pooled funds for a multitude of investment opportunities. And so retirement accounts can get involved in a lot of different structures, whether it's being equity partners, whether it's just simply bringing debt to a particular project. So we see a tremendous amount of that.
Okay, great. Now, is there anything else that you would like to add from our conversation today? I know it's like a preliminary conversation. If somebody's never heard of a self-directed IRA, this might be the first time they're hearing about this. What else would you like to add about that? And then I'll ask you to also share, how can people contact you if they want to talk directly with you or somebody at your company about setting up a self-directed IRA?
Yeah, absolutely. So really, I think the big thing that we're trying to get the word out there about is that these quote unquote self-directed accounts, they are the same retirement accounts that you have with your current provider. Really, the only time that the retirement account is going to change forms is if you have an old employer-sponsored plan, like an old 401k, a 403b, or a thrift savings plan. Those will be rolled over many times into an IRA with a firm like ours. But for the most part, if you currently have a traditional IRA, a Roth IRA, a SEP IRA, those are also going to be Roths or traditionals or SEPs with us as well. And so it's your same retirement account. It's the same rules around it in terms of your ability to make contributions, your ability to take monies from the account, hopefully in your retirement years. And so the only thing we're doing is just kind of adding opportunities to the menu of how you can invest your retirement account. And so it's not as big of a leap, if you will, as many people might think when they first hear about this strategy and these ideas. And so we, as you said, we'd love to just simply be a resource for clients and to help them get up to speed with the rules around, especially things that they're interested in doing. So our website, AmericanIRA.com, has a lot of great content from blogs to, you'll see we're very active with webinars. So each week we have at least 2 live webinars that I do, and we touch on a variety of topics. We do have a YouTube channel that we're just getting ready to launch. It's been essentially kind of a private channel to this point. So if you search American IRA LLC on YouTube, there is a channel for that where, again, just a lot of different types of videos and content. Some of it's around retirement accounts, others are around specific strategies. So please feel free to reach out to us in a variety of ways. We do have the ability for you to sign up for a consultation via our website as well. So we're happy to jump on a call. If you're local to one of our offices, we'd love to meet with you in person as well.
Okay, that's fantastic. So I'm going to put all the information that you just mentioned, the website, and the YouTube channel. I'll find it and I'll put that link in the show notes as I distribute this. So is there a phone number, or I guess the phone number would be on the website if they wanted to call and talk to somebody live?
Yeah, absolutely. It is on the website, but it is available at 828-257-4949 as well. That's our headquarters, our corporate office in Asheville.
Okay, that is perfect. Well, Sean, thanks for coming on with me today, taking the time out to explain, and hopefully people that watch this will really benefit by it and give you guys a call.
Yeah, thanks so much, John. This was great. I appreciate the opportunity to share a bit of information. And again, for any of you listening, if we could help out, we'd love to be a resource for you.
Absolutely. Thanks, Sean. Have a great day.
Thanks a lot, John.